Good morning everybody, welcome to another video. Today we talking about the cartels and what's going on with those situations. And over there on the other side of the world, or not the other side of the world, scratch that, on the below us on the map. You'll know where I'm talking about. But anyway, our Latino brothers beneath us, what's going on over there in Mexico? Let's find that out today, right here, on YouTube. Don't go nowhere. Lil Jake will be right back. So welcome back, you guys. Today, we're tuning to Marines wipe out Mexican militia as cartel first country collapse. So let's check this out, y'all, see what this is about. And next I want to check this out, world's most feared cartel. But that's going to be a longer video.
Now, we're sealing the border, but President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been, and to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela. We're not going to allow this kind of activity.
So, smugglers and their border-beating vessels are on the losing end of the U.S. military's cartel crackdown. And their days of ferrying illegal immigrants and sneaking across our border are over once and for all. However, as you're about to see, some of these
They're just finding new ways, straight up. They're just finding new ways. We ain't that slick. We slick, but we ain't that slick. They just gonna find new ways to figure out ways to get across. That's all that's gonna happen.
criminals either haven't yet gotten that message or think they're smarter than smart weapons.
Well, the Trump administration has set their targets on one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world, the Sinaloa Cartel. And the U.S. government isn't just targeting the Sinaloa Cartel members or associates in Mexico or in the U.S., but actually worldwide.
The Southern Command knew exactly where these folks were and that you guys were going to take them out.
We've got assets in the air, assets in the water, assets on ships, because this is a deadly serious mission for us.
Do you think people would be surprised to learn how many members of that cartel are operating in their communities?
Sure. So Sinaloa Cartel in every single state across America, more than 40 countries around the world.
Nicholas.
I'm sure half of these arrests really ain't as that deadly as they say it is. But maybe it is. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that it really gets deadly out there dealing with these cartels? Or do you think they mostly just give in to police presence? I know in their country it's a little different. But for us, what do y'all think? Do you think they're really that violent for us?
Maduro himself is accused of running a trafficking network. Venezuela sees the US's actions as an invasion.
We are preparing ourselves. We're here at maximum readiness.
If you're on a boat headed to the United States, you're an immediate threat to the United States. And the President, under his authority as Commander-in-Chief, has a right to eliminate imminent threats to the United States.
So Mexico's Sinaloa Cartel has been moving their forces into America for a long time. And what nobody's talking about is these bad actors, no matter which country they're from, they did not illegally enter America with the purposes of improving it, that's for sure. And once they're here, these criminal organizations dedicate all of their time to making our country less safe. Yet they're able to exist here because for years, their support networks have stretched far beyond our borders into countries like Mexico and Venezuela, where they've got their headquarters and safe houses, and in some cases receive 100% state sponsorship. With Venezuela's dictator telling his country that the U.S. is waging war on them simply by stopping boats full of criminals from illegally entering our country. And here's the thing, these obviously are not fishing vessels, which the dear leader has said they might be. Instead, these are high-performance boats designed to sneak past the Coast Guard and Navy so they can conduct secretive criminal operations on U.S. soil without permission. And that brings us to the real reason the President of the United States has has to do something. These criminals, they're trying to sneak into our country. They're trying to bring people with them. And if the U.S. won't take a stand against this now, when will it? And we're not talking about amateurs here. These cartels are heavily armed, in some cases, with the exact same types of weapons used by militaries around the world. And with their operatives finding their way to sanctuary cities as far away as Denver.
They might got some of the same weapons, but they don't want war, I feel like. Or maybe they do. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry, I'm tired. Maybe they do want war, but I haven't heard of many situations where the cartel is shooting at America because they're trying to get drugs or something across. I have not heard any stories like that. I haven't even heard of pirates shooting at America. So I don't know where all these violent cartels are supposed to be. But they're normal people just like us if you think about it. So at the end of the day, are they really that violent? What do y'all think? Leave it down in the comments.
Denver, Colorado, and New York, another aspect of this whole conflict comes to light, which most people have never thought of.
Males in custody. Males in custody.
This is a subject that has felony warrants. He's also wanted by ICE.
According to ICE, he's from Honduras and connected to the Sinaloa cartel.
He walked out of the apartment with a bowl of ramen noodles.
So that guy getting arrested there, he's not...
I wish we could hear more. Hold on, let's hear more about this.
Just some gang member. He's a member of a cartel based in Mexico, the largest and most powerful one of these in the entire country. Yet he'd been living happily as a criminal in a sanctuary city, doing everything possible to extend the length of his rap sheet. But what's he doing in Denver, Colorado, if the cartel he's associated with is thousands of miles away?
During the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag? Nothing happened. 115 illegal immigrants, aliens in our country, arrested them. 2 with warrants, 12 guns seized.
And once these criminals get inside America, their goal is to get their finger.
So these are all illegal people from other states? Or am I tripping? Is all these people running out illegal?
On every little piece of illicit activity possible, which mainly involves the smuggling of illegal immigrants, something that generated $13 billion a year for these gangsters at the height of the U.S. asylum crisis, which explains why they've got networks throughout our country designed to maintain all of this infrastructure. And you know, these guys are relentless. They're still trying to sneak across our border like this.
Hey, wait, hey, you got a gun? Hey, right there.
These guys are still at it. They just won't stop, which is why the Trump administration wants to stop them now. And probably the most frightening aspect of all of this is you've got multiple gangs and multiple cartels all operating.
This is probably our biggest problem with cartels, bro. Dealing with trucks of people, they come in. Sorry, I'm so tired. Sorry, y'all, I'm sleepy as hell today. But their biggest problem with the cartels is the trucks coming in of illegal aliens or immigrants. I hate calling them aliens, but illegal immigrants and just people not getting found out at the borders. I think that's our biggest problem with cartels and the drugs, not the violence. But what do y'all think? Because the Americans makes them out to be such violent people, but they really aren't that much different than us.
Operating and assisting each other with crime inside of our country. These guys are all working together in some capacity, even if they're not friends. And there have even been reports that Tren de Aragua gang members from Venezuela were operating as hired muscle for these cartels, keeping an eye on people smuggled into sanctuary cities like New York. And that brings up a good question. How do you go about stamping these criminal organizations out if they're already everywhere?
With 49 in Massachusetts, 33 in New Hampshire, Connecticut saw the most at 64.
Do you think people would be surprised to learn how many members of that cartel are operating probably in plain sight in their communities?
Sure. So Sinaloa Cartel and
are these members illegal? That's what I want to know. Are these illegal members or are these just regular members? Because we got gang members inside our country. What is the difference there?
every single state across America, more than 40 countries around the world, and obviously they're in every state throughout New England.
What's their number one?
That is absolutely insane. The fact that these guys are in all 50 states. But that reveals something. You can't end this conflict just in America because they're already here, yet they're supported from over here, which means you need to take things to the level that the current president has decided to do. You got to go on offense to an extent. You've got to go into their territory where these guys feel safe enough to continue infiltrating America. But here's the thing, the United States doesn't exactly have permission from these quote-unquote host countries to help them deal with the criminal activity that makes America less safe while impacting their own citizens. People who in many cases live in artificially low levels of poverty as these criminal organizations plunder their populations with the help of their local governments through their infiltrating of various police forces, government agencies, and potential control of politicians. Which is why the naval armada in the Caribbean is so important. It's there to stop the boats, to stop the illegal immigration, and to take down criminals. And by doing that, you effectively isolate the thugs who are in America who are supposed to check up on all of their criminal activity by cutting them off from their home base. And predictably, these criminals, well, they're not too happy about this, are they?
But the US Navy has deployed in strength near Venezuelan waters, and Caracas has told its population to prepare for war.
It is an undeclared war, and you can already see how people have been executed in the Caribbean Sea. Executed, without the right to defense.
The Venezuelan military has wrapped up 3 days of exercises around the Caribbean, and President Nicolas...
See, the other countries are looking at it like, these are our people. Damn, I'm sorry, y'all. That's like my 50th time yawning in this video. But they're looking at it like, this is our people, right? And these people live in our land. And they make money off our land. And they're making money off of these drugs in our land. When they have nothing better that's making them money. Like I seen one documentary that said if they didn't sell coca leaves, they wouldn't make no ends meet. But because none of the other cash crops are selling in their country besides coca leaves. So the drugs is really the worst part about it. But even that is like they're just trying to make money for their families in their allocated countries, and they're just trying to bring that over to other countries to make even more money possibly. But I don't think they're trying to bring violence and all that. What do you guys think about that? Do you think they're trying to bring violence? I probably already asked that, but I asked it, what do y'all think about the violence? But do you think they're trying to bring violence to this country? Leave that down in the comments.
Maduro, wanted by Washington, has announced that people from poor communities will be provided weapons training. Venezuela has called for a United Nations...
So Venezuela, according to the US government, it is a cartel-run country, and the leader of this Venezuelan cartel, Cartel de las Soles, is Nicolas Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela. And here's where things get extremely interesting. Maduro's cartel has been caught teaming up with Mexico's Sinaloa cartel and the Tren de Aragua gang, which is also from Venezuela, revealing that the criminal underworld here, well, it has a common enemy, and that would be law and order, best exemplified by the Trump administration cracking down on the US border once and for all. Which explains why these guys have decided to unite. Together, they're going to be a lot harder to deal with than if they're constantly at war with each other. But the fascinating thing about this is the Venezuelan government, it's not like the Mexican government, which maintains that there is some plausible deniability between its leaders and these cartels who may fund certain politicians and help them get elected. No, Venezuela, they're not pulling any punches. They're telling their citizens that the US is ready to invade, and they're even trying to raise up the general populace to become part of this resistance effort.
These Venezuelans are learning how to assemble, aim, and shoot their weapons in order to defend their country. They're heeding the call of their president, Nicolas Maduro. Venezuela sees the US's actions as an invasion.
So he's probably just got regular people in his military, y'all. Just regular ass people off the street fighting in his military. That's what it looks like. I don't know, I might be wrong about that, but how violent can these people be, y'all? I'm sure they get violent. Yeah, I'm not lying that they get violent. Anybody can get violent. But yeah, I don't know, bro, like, we shouldn't be identifying them as like the most violent people.
We are preparing ourselves.
Speaking on cartels.
Whereas they, the United States, are pressuring, conducting a brutal psychological operations exercise. We're here at maximum readiness.
U.S. imperialism. A communist country is complaining about U.S. imperialism and how that is a bigger threat to its own citizens than it is. But regardless, the purpose of this mobilization is to make it clear that the government of Venezuela has the support of its people and that they all feel threatened by an evil United States led by someone both the Democrat political violence party in America and these cartels claim is out of control. Even though President Trump's made it clear he just wants the criminals trying to come into our country to stop trying once and for all. Now, it's pretty obvious these homegrown militia videos are pure propaganda for an invasion that's likely never to happen, but you got to understand something. You've got a criminal.
So Trump came in and said, nah, I don't want y'all to keep doing this coming across the country thing. So he decided to shut down tremendously on a bunch of people coming into this country. That's basically what Trump's saying, like, basically what he just said, like, I no longer want y'all to come in this country. So we're gonna do things to crack down on our borders and keep people out of the country, and that's all that we really ask for. That's what Trump's basically saying, unless he's saying more and we just don't see it, and it's behind closed doors and all that. But that's basically what he's saying.
Organization here running a country, and they know that they can't defeat U.S. ships, U.S. troops, U.S. air power. No, they don't have a chance of doing that, but they're hoping they can win some sort of propaganda battle, which they might be. They've already got plenty of support from their allies in certain political sectors of America who are trying to pass legislation to protect these criminals, and that's how they think they're going to win this thing.
If you're on a boat full of or whatever headed to the United States, you're an immediate threat to the United States. And the president, under his authority as commander-in-chief, has a right, under exigent circumstances, to eliminate through imminent threats to the United States.
It's too bad not everybody sees it that way.
And this month, U.S. authorities dealing another major blow to the Sinaloa cartel's operations.
Eliminate meaning they take them into due process and arrest them and all this and then get them back into their own country. Eliminate sounds crazy.
1,300 barrels were shipped from Shanghai, China to Mexico. We intercepted these on the high seas, and now the Sinaloa cartel will not be able to use them.
You know, the amount of cooperation between countries that aren't necessarily friends of America with these criminal organizations is absolutely staggering. It's almost like there's a full court press against American greatness, if you want to call it that. And perhaps most frighteningly of all, the criminal organizations involved in that full court press, well, they're getting assistance from people inside America. There are politicians that hate the current president and hate the fact that the border is closed so much that they'll do whatever they can to reopen it, even if it means the enemy of their enemy just so happens to be their friend. And in that case, it's a criminal cartel in Mexico or in Venezuela. What a disaster. And the only way to defeat these guys is to do what we're doing now, to take a proactive approach. We can't just sit back and not police our border and expect that this problem is going to do anything other than just grow and magnify to the $13 billion a year the smuggling of illegal immigrants across our border had become for these guys. So you've got to close down the border. You've got to track down these operatives and lock them up in the United States. And you've got to send a message to them that if they think they can operate freely and commit crime that harms America, that those days are over. No, you can't do that anymore. There's a new sheriff in town.
So America needs to understand that we can't keep doing business the same old way.
That's right.
It's not working. We can't just, use law enforcement resources. And by the way, Trace, my last comment is we must have mandatory education throughout America on this dangerous crisis.
Right.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the cartels using unconventional weapons. Listen.
We are increasingly concerned that these cartels are now in possession not just of landmines and grenade. We're now seeing the deployment of drone technology by terrorist groups operating out of Venezuelan territory.
Dang, cartels got drones now? That's crazy, y'all. But anyway, what do y'all think about Trump closing the border, y'all? What do y'all feel about that? Do you think he should get more crack down on the border? Or you think he should allow some of these people to come through just to see how they're going to do in this country? Y'all let me know that in the comments.
Territory in many cases into Colombia. Imagine drones in the hands of these cartels threatening nation states, threatening security forces.
Could get ugly, man. I've got 20.
I mean, it could. And the problem here is these guys are just on the other side of the U.S. border. They've got safe spaces. They've got territory that they control. They're headed over here on boats. Somebody's going to get...
Or they could be just left alone and just do their thing like other countries do until they have a sanctioned country themselves or whatever they're after. Apart from us, they could do their thing apart from us, and we do our own thing. And we all just do our own thing. How about that?
Hurt if these boats aren't stopped, if these criminal groups operating out of Mexico aren't stopped. And the hardest part about this problem is the education component. Most Americans don't even know this is happening in our country, especially those in sanctuary cities. They see a bunch of people working at a construction site or working illegally at a restaurant somewhere, and they say, oh, everything here is perfectly fine. But what they don't understand is every single person that's here paid money in some capacity to some of the most dangerous criminals on the entire planet, enriching them. Some of these very same people hiding at construction sites are actually these gang members and these operatives hiding in plain sight on our streets with long, horrendous, dangerous rap sheets, checking up on the criminal infrastructure these guys spent the last 4 years establishing in America in ways most people never even realized. But there's another aspect to all of this. These thugs that are running countries, that are in charge of vast swaths of Mexican territory where the Mexican military won't even go and allegedly control the entire country of Venezuela. What's that do to the law-abiding people, the good people in Mexico and Venezuela who are suffering because criminals are in charge and who experience poverty and very little freedom and are oftentimes in fear? What do you think they want to see happen here? Do you think that the president building a wall, securing the border, and getting rid of these gang members is going to be a good thing for law-abiding Mexican citizens and Americans and Venezuelans? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.
That's a good thought too, though. What do you think? The people living in fear in those countries that just want to see a basic country, but they should just leave their country too then, if they don't like the way it's run. Because that's how we say about our country. If you don't like the way we're running it, maybe you should just go to a different country. But I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about that last statement he made? Y'all let me know down below. Should the cartels be running countries, or should we try and take it over and put our American ways to it? What do y'all think down below? Let me know down below. Until next time, y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out, y'all. Stay tuned till next time. Peace.